Welcome, and we have a lovely Christmas article here today. Dr. Lant's First Christmas Away from Home, Paris, 1967. Dr. Lant?
Today is the day I sign up to receive Social Security. It will be a day when low-level bureaucrats will prod me, asking questions they already know the answers to, all designed to prove or not that I am the Jeffrey Ladd Lant, born 66 years ago in Illinois, into a time and situation which now only exists in my imagination. I wonder whether the clerk will smile or even look at me when the inevitable queries are asked. I'm not counting on it, for they see a generation advancing to old age, while I consider only myself. I want human contact, but we'll have to do with sign here and get the money. And so, under the circumstances, you will understand that I need something quite different, a kind of cosmic pick-me-up, composed of equal portions of youth, energy, hope, and optimism, all things in shorter supply today, here and now, than then. I need Paris. Since you probably do too, let me share some with you, the better to remember and pass a kindred moment where not a single word is required or expected. I love Paris in the winter when it drizzles. For me, only one song would do for the musical accompaniment to this article. Cole Porter's seductive tune, I Love Paris. It debuted in 1953 in the film Can-Can, and like so many of Porter's haunting melodies, it immediately touched the soul of the world. In this case, setting out to recall the bittersweet memories of a youth that can only be tapped infrequently, so powerful is even the smallest part. I like Ella Fitzgerald's rendition about this timeless town. It cuts to the heart and does with you what it will, just like love itself. You'll find this bijou in any search engine. Go now and play it again and again and again. If it's cold and misty outside, then the memories come back thick and fast. You are ready for what follows. Paris, destiny. In 1967, I was the luckiest 20-year-old in the world. Though the great republic was at war, gravely divided by whether we should have more of it or less, I was going to Poland for my Christmas holidays. Now, as all the world knows, the way to Warsaw most assuredly goes to Paris, at least on my atlas. Thus, I found myself for the first time in the City of Light, at the best possible time in life to be there. That is to say, whatever time you are there. In my case, December 1967, just a few days before Christmas. My trip, hurriedly arranged, which is to say, in the way of young men, not arranged at all, came about because of a notice hung on a bold campus bulletin board at the University of St. Andrews in Scotland, for spending it happily too my junior year abroad. It promised high times and high jinks in Zakopane, the site of the Eastern Bloc's 1967 Winter Olympics. The trip was sponsored by the Young Pioneers, communism's equivalent of the best of the brightest. The costs could be scraped together and was just affordable at just about £100. Of course, we wouldn't tell parents where it was we were going, much less under whose auspices bright young men seek to shield the rents from any inkling that what they might have done were having, or would have a good time. That was always the best possible course, especially where communists and Paris minds were involved. Paris first. Our trip to Poland was to have begun in London, where we were to meet with tour guides and organizers. He had been a Tory candidate for Parliament at the last general election. Time now hung heavy while he waited impatiently for his next chance at greatness. Like most young, ambitious, aspiring conservatives, he didn't believe in much of anything. Principles, you see, get in the way of success. It was always better not to have too many or to believe in too seriously. As a result, our guide, youthful, good-looking, and unscrupulous, was excellent company and game for anything. It's a pity I've forgotten his name. He's undoubtedly a retired cabinet minister now, full of sage advice and pompous aphorisms. Right Honourable the First Baron Twisby on Thames. Such a man, of course, approved our traveling to Paris first, meeting up with the group later. Pleasurably fatigued as men of the world would most assuredly be at that point, he understood, undoubtedly wished us luck, and winked salaciously. And so I went to Paris, into a passionate embrace which is never ending. Every true Parisian believes there is Paris, and then there is everything else. There is no known antidote to this belief. Once in Paris, walking the Champs-Élysées, you are glad it is so. No antidote desired, none imaginable. And that's as it should be. So I came to see that Paris was not merely a place, but an idea, a dream, a vision, a vision and wearing a vision in grander style and sureness of touch. There was a better me waiting for the ordinary me to arrive. Le beaucoup. I remember everything about those days, no detail too small or inconsequential. Paris is like that, transforming even the slightest of matters into events primed with significance. Paris is, after all, the greatest mise en scène on earth, a place where you find yourself, you see yourself as larger than life, mesmerizing, captivating, the very person you always wanted to be, and now are, to the gratification of self and the satisfying envy of the folks back home. No other city on earth, no other place at all holds such power, such magic. And so you, like Josephine Baker, sing this: J'ai deux amours, mon pays et Paris. You are suddenly, unmistakably, to your complete bliss, a boulevardier, au fait with everything in this place which now forever holds a piece of your heart, and means to keep it forever with fierce possession. And so it started in the boulangerie. Within moments of arrival, I ordered a baguette and thanked the proprietor for her beaucoup. Oh, monsieur, she said, just for a moment no longer of a certain age, but young again, with graceful curves well worth seeing. She patted her haunch, she giggled, she pointed, oh, monsieur, c'est le beaucoup. I had made her happy. It was a portent of other happy encounters to come. Is this what I think it for? Later that day, I stood with Mark Morris at the ticket counter at the Opera. Baron Haussmann's great creation began in 1861, a venue fit for God himself to make music. We barely had enough for 2 tickets high up in the rafters, and needed to count it twice over to be sure of even that. But there was something about us, 2 acolytes butchering La Belle Langue, determined to worship everything we saw that touched the heart of the woman ticket seller. Voila, she said, an empress dispensing largesse. And so we came to possess a box in the opera for the evening's performance, compliments of the Parisienne, determined to turn by a graceful touch the quotidian into a lifetime's happy memory. Everything was new, notable, marvelous, including how 2 young men of decidedly limited means, dressed just a shade better than tattletales, had their box unlocked for them and locked again with them inside. And of how they soon discovered a ceramic pot on the floor festooned with the grandiloquent ends of the master who ordered such monumental awe and splendor. Yes, it was used. And so the customs of Paris turned the most natural function into art and protocol. Last night's first visit, Benito Sanreyes, with the Senor Isabel. No young person wants to slow down the pace of life. Speed, not savor, is always their order of the day. But then comes Paris. And the dawning fear. One has too little time, hardly any time at all, to enjoy everything, each thing. And so life comes, and so youth comes to know a secret of age, that the best lived life is patient, paced, distinguished by care, not merely celerity. Thus one grows and matures, another Paris's insights and benedictions. And so in my final hours of what I vowed must be my first trip of many, I made my way near midnight to one of man's great achievements, Notre Dame. I went as a curiosity seeker, for I was, after all, the son of Puritans who would decry my very presence in such a Romish place. But God was present that night, and I knew why men of vision had dreamed this place and worked so hard to achieve it. Here was a place where one might look for and even find sanctity, belief, peace, and be touched by the greatest light that shone that night in the city of light. And it was good. I sang the words of the great hymn, Venite adoremus, with conviction, Nuestro Señor y Salvador, and then it was over. I was in the middle of a Christmas night, en route by rail to Poland, enraptured by the greatest reason for loving Paris, the reason found in the last lines of Cole Porter's great tune. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lant, for sharing that and bringing us to Paris, that we can experience a bit of that ourselves. And I hope all will come and check out Dr. Lant's Christmas articles at writerssecrets.com.